I've never tried, say, powder blush before. Oh, why am I going out of order? That was not the step I was on. I was just too excited to try it. We're gonna backtrack just a little bit. But now I guess is the good time to say hello and welcome to the video. Don't worry, I'm about to tell you guys the good and the bad news. On to the hair. We're gonna start with the good news. Little backstory in case you have not been keeping up. I'm in the process of buying a house and I've been keeping you guys updated. And today we're chatting about two really big things. One is bad news and one is good news. I think we're gonna start with the good news because that's very easy to explain, and the bad news is a little bit of a story. I think there's more to explain in the bad news. The good news is, and it's very, very, very good news. It's something that I've been waiting. It was probably my biggest worry. Besides the inspection and the appraisal and all the big things that can go wrong, this was probably the one I was most worried about. I found out the good news and the bad news actually on the same day. Okay, are you ready? I got approved. Obviously you can't, you can. I was gonna say you can't buy a house without funding, but you can pay cash for a house. That is just not feasible for most of us. Basically, you apply and then you get all your documents together and you send them over, and then it gets sent off to underwriting. An underwriter is basically just like a third person. They just go over all your documents and they are the ones that actually sign off, and they tell the lender, okay, this person's good to go. You can give them the loan. It's a long process, but I found out the other day, and I have been waiting. I've been a little nervous because I don't know, it's just a nerve-wracking kind of process because you have to prove with your credit and your income and your taxes and everything. You have to prove that you're likely to pay the loan. That is the good news. Technically, it was a conditional approval because there's other things that have to get done in the meantime, like the inspection, which is done, and the appraisal, which I'll get to, and then you have to get homeowner's insurance. And so it's all conditional on those. As long as those things get done, then you're fully approved. But a conditional approval is huge, and I've been waiting on that. For weeks, I've been a little nervous about that. As for the bad news, like I had mentioned before and in other videos, there are some major milestones in the home buying process. Obviously, one we just talked about, the loan, the inspection, and the appraisal. I think those are like the biggest hurdles that you have to get through that most people are worried about. You guys, inspection, easy peasy. Very, very, very minimal items that have already been fixed. That really has nothing to do with the lender. You guys see where I'm going with this? The only last thing is the appraisal. I'll explain everything, but the bad news is that the house didn't appraise for as much as the offer. So basically what that means is another third party appraiser, he goes out to the house and he looks at everything, and he also goes online and he gets comps of other houses in the neighborhood that have sold. And then he's also looking for any upgrades that the seller has done to the house. I don't know if I'm explaining this properly or 100% correct, but this is just what I know. So anything that the previous owners have done that have added value, like updated bathrooms or updated kitchens, those add value to a home and they help with your appraisal. So he does all his little research and he comes back with a number. I'm pretty sure he does not know what the contract price is. Selling realtor, I hope this is interesting to you because if you're ever thinking about buying a house, this is useful information. Again, disclaimer, I'm not a real estate agent. I'm not an appraiser. I'm not a professional. The house goes onto the market. The real estate agent suggests the price and it goes on the market. And then the buyer comes in and they make an offer on that house. And it usually is a negotiation period. And then they agree on a price. And the lender is based on the house. So the lender wants to get that house a price. Here's why it's important. I know I'm bouncing all over the place. Here's why it's important. The lender is not going to give you more money than this appraiser says that the house is worth. Let's pretend you offered $500,000 on a house. So you need the bank to give you $500,000. You're going to probably have a down payment, but let's pretend there's no down payment. So you need $500,000. The bank's going to give you $1,000. You have good enough credit. You make enough money. You're ready to go. The bank says, I'm going to give you $500,000. But then the appraiser comes in and he marches in and he does his assessment and he comes back and he says, this house is only worth $450,000. So now there's a gap. So this is what happened in my case. The appraisal came back a little low. Not like this example that I gave you at $50,000. You made a deal with the buyer to pay them $500,000 for this house. The appraisal came in at $450,000. The bank's not going to give you $500,000 for a house that they're being told isn't worth $500,000. So they're only going to give you $450,000. So there's a gap that has to be made up somewhere. So there's a few options. The gap has to be made up somewhere, whether the seller comes down on the price to meet that point, or the buyer agrees to pay the difference, or you can go back to the appraiser and give them different comps that they may have missed, and you can try to go back to the appraiser and get them to raise that appraisal amount to close the gap a little bit further. So anyways, that's where I am. That's my bad news, is we go back to the negotiation phase. We're not starting over by any means. It's just that we have to kind of figure out how to close that gap. Everything was going so smoothly. In the morning, I got notified that I had been approved. And then I think maybe 3 hours later, I found out that the house didn't appraise. So that's where we are right now in my little home buying journey. Just trying to keep you guys completely updated. I feel like it could have been worse. The bad news could have been worse. It could have been having to do something with my funding. This is not in my control. The funding kind of is, because it's like my past history of paying my bills on time and my income and all of that. That I somewhat had control. And once it goes to the underwriter, I don't have any control after that. But this is something that you're kind of at the mercy of the appraiser. But in the off chance that we can't come to another agreement, then I would be starting over completely. And then the house hunting would start again. That's the update. In other news, I've been home for a couple days and I pretty much just, rotted. It's been kind of good. I've kind of enjoyed it. I've been home alone for the last couple days, which has been something I'm not used to being home alone. I usually have somebody here with me. Haley's still back in LA with Jules and they get back soon. I do have a meeting in a couple hours, so that's kind of what I'm getting ready for the day. And because I just kind of rotted the last 2 days, this is the first time I have put on any makeup. So it feels good to be getting myself put back together. We're gonna make a matcha in a little bit. We're gonna sit down and have our little meeting, and then I have nothing to do the rest of the day. I decided that I'm gonna stay in my jammies. Well, I was gonna say I'm gonna stay in my jammies until right before my meeting, and then I'm gonna change. And then for half a second I thought, why do I have to change out of my pajamas? Like I could wear what I'm wearing for the meeting. And then this is what was going on in my head, and I quickly decided that probably wasn't a good idea and that I should actually get out of my pajamas for the meeting. And I just walked out and I saw this too, though. Hello, little angel baby of mine, having her bestest morning nap. She sleeps so good in the morning. She has it's pretty much an all-day nap, we should call it, until early afternoon. And then she'll get up and she will go outside, and then she comes in and she sleeps again, and then her pacing starts. And then she eats breakfast and dinner during that time too. But that's pretty much Piper's day. And this one wants to go outside, which is a great idea. We should go get some fresh air. I agree, Winnie. It's not the prettiest of days, but the birds are chirping and it's warm. I sat around, then I decided to get myself up, change clothes, kind of. And now I'm gonna make a matcha for my meeting. I have a quick Zoom call meeting in about 10 minutes. I figured I needed a little sweet treat, pick me up. Earlier today, I was craving a cookie or something sweet, and I don't really have anything at the house, but I feel like a matcha may do the trick. My assembly line of things that I need to make this delicious matcha. Would you guys ever be interested in like a step-by-step? Not like I'm some professional matcha maker, but you guys, my matchas have gotten pretty good over the last year or so. I feel like if I put it up here, it's easier to see. It's easier to mix. When I was in LA, we went to a pizza and pasta restaurant. It's called John and Benny's, and we ordered matchas. I ordered a strawberry matcha, and Matt and Jules ordered the regular matcha, but sweetened with French vanilla. And the sweetener I normally use is salted caramel. But when I tell you this French vanilla matcha, but my strawberry matcha was good too, but there was something about this French vanilla matcha. So I think when I'm out of this, if not maybe sooner, maybe next time I'm at the store, I might get a French vanilla flavor. This is the only flavor sweetener I've tried. I've done a different brand of this before, but I do think it was the same flavor. I think I need to try that. Are you guys playing? Okay, Gigi thinks Piper's playing, but I don't think Piper's playing. Piper doesn't usually play anymore, but she is awake. She's kind of doing her pacing thing right now. And Gigi thinks it's playtime. I need to run and go grab my computer off the charger, plop myself on the table. I'll be good to go. 2:58. Perfect timing for a 3 o'clock Zoom. I love watching everybody join. It's the best part. How's everybody doing? Okay, bye everybody. Hi, Whitney. Oh, what time is it? It's not time. Can you give me 5 more minutes? I'm done with my call. That was exactly 30 minutes. That was perfect. Whitney, give me 5 minutes. I want to. Hold on, I want you guys to see this. This is what I see. This is what she's doing. She wants some attention. Hello, gorgeous. Hello. Oh my goodness. What a goodest girl you are. I just wanted to jot some notes down so I don't forget. That is all she wrote for the meeting. My kitchen's clean. One thing I do not like about this kitchen, this is where the junk pile has been established. Are there other places for it? Yes, probably over there behind the dish rack. It would be less obvious there, but for some reason, this is where it collects. I hate that it's right there, but it's so convenient. Everybody's got one of these, including a junk drawer. I hate it, but I'm actually really excited to figure out where my next junk pile and junk drawer will be in the new house. But anyways, I've got some readers. I've got some blue light glasses, a Tide pen, a stack of opened mail, a stack of unopened mail, air freshener. This is a really, really yummy scent. It's cashmere woods. I've got lotion, best lotion ever. This, silent review. Moving on, this is a 1-minute mask. It's made of honey. Last summer we went to a bee excursion, and we learned about bees and honey, and they make their own honey, and I have some of their honey, but apparently honey is good for your face, and they made a mask, that same company. Can you read that? And then also a candle from that same place, a beeswax candle, a cork, remote for my tripod, a little berry that was on one of my Christmas wreaths, I think. And a pen. Oh, sorry, I missed this stuff. Some flower food, extra, that is just laying around in case I need it one day. And Gigi's little nose snout soother. That's what it is. She hates it. Actually, all the dogs, Winnie will raise her lip if I come. I might try to do it. It's so cute. Kind of mean, but they all hate it. Piper and Winnie's nose don't really need it. They stay pretty moist, but Gigi's is always dry. And so I try to do this at least once a day. They hate it. Watch what she does when she realizes I have it. Stop, you're kidding. Don't run her over. And look at Gigi backing away. What? You want some? No one likes it. Oh, you want to come eat it? Oh. Okay. I won't do it to those two because they don't really need it. But unfortunately for Gigi, she does need it. So I'm going to put it on her. Okay, she's on my lap, not the counter. You would think that I was torturing them. Being good. Good girl. Good girl. Oops, let me rub that in a little. There you go. Good job. Hold on one second. I'm going to wash my hands. Hope you love my story time about my good and bad news on my house hunting journey. I'm staying positive. No matter what happens, I know it's gonna be okay. I know it's just gonna work itself out. The worst that could happen, I know I already mentioned this, is that I would start looking for houses again. Really have tried not to get too attached because I know things can go wrong, so I'm not too stressed. I'm surprised actually. I'm remaining calm and optimistic, and I'll worry about it later if I have to. That realization has helped me so much in life. Don't worry about it until you have to worry about it. And 9 times out of 10, actually I don't know the statistic, but most of the time, the things that you worry about, 9 times out of 10, you didn't need to worry about it anyway because it worked itself out. That worst case scenario that you were worried about ends up not happening, and you worried for nothing and you wasted that time away. I'm just not gonna worry about it until I have to worry about it. Probably gonna end up that I don't have to worry about it. I just said worry about 20 times. I will see you guys next time. We get to go see the house this week because, like I said, the inspection went really smoothly and there was nothing major. All the little minor things that I had listed, they fixed all of those. So I get to go back and check on those things. And then I think there's also a final walkthrough, which is right before closing. I get to go back and do the final walkthrough, I think, unless that's the day of closing. I don't know. I don't know all the steps. So we scheduled it for when Jules is gonna be here. So she gets to see the house for the first time. So I'm excited for that. It's fun to go back. Anyways, so much to look forward to. But as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for clicking. Thanks for joining me. I love you all, and I'll see you next time.